MBGRR, Monotone Board Game Rule Reading. Grand Austria Hotel is a game by Simone Luciani and Virginio Gilgi. For 2 to 4 players, around 90 minutes of play. Synopsis. At the beginning of the 20th century, Vienna was one of the major centers of Europe. Artists, politicians, noble, citizen, and tourists populated the streets of the city, and the emperor ruled them all. You are in the thick of the Viennese modern age, trying your luck as a hotelier. For that, you must expand your little hotel and prepare new rooms. In the meantime, your guests require culinary excellence. Make sure each and every guest receive a proper dish and drink. You may need to hire additional staff. Despite all that, do not forget to render homage to the emperor, or you will fall in disgrace pretty soon. Face the challenges and turn your little hotel into the Grand Austria Hotel. Hotelier Commentary. I kiss your hand, madame. Good day, my lord. My name is Leopold, and if you allow me, I will be your guide in our grand hotel. Components: action board, king board, 4 hotel boards with 2 sides, 56 guest cards, 48 staff cards, 12 politics cards, 4 overview cards, 9 turn order tiles, 1 round marker, 84 room tiles in 3 colors, 14 dice, 24 wooden discs in the 4 player colors: orange, light blue, purple, gray, 12 emperor tiles, 1 dustbin, 120 dishes and drinks, including 30 wooden cubes in each of 4 colors: black for coffee, white for cake, red for wine, and light brown for strudels. 4 victory points marker. Guest cards. Each guest card has an order, victory points, a name, a reward, and a category, the tablecloth colors. In order to make your hotel successful, you will have to attract many guests and meet their needs and wishes. Once you fulfill guest requests, they will stay at your hotel and bring you rewards. The guests are quite picky though, when it comes to taking rooms. Nobles, blue cards, only take blue rooms. Artists, yellow cards, only yellow rooms. And citizens, red cards, only red rooms. Only tourists, green cards, are pleased with any room they can get. Making a guest happy is not only worth victory points, it also provides an additional action as a reward. Hotelier Commentary. Guests are always the most important. This is how we roll in our hotel. If the guest is happy, they take a room. This is the only way to use our hotel to capacity and gain additional actions. Staff cards. Each staff card has a cost, a name, a time of use, and an effect. Staff can be used for your hotel. Each helper has a different effect. Some only provide a one-time benefit on hire, while others have permanent effects. Some provides additional victory points at the end of the game. Also, there are staff that you can only use once per round. Hotelier Commentary. Staff can be quite helpful, but a skillful hotelier can manage on their own if he's really clever. Hotel board. Your hotel board features a whole cafe which can host 3 guests. Your kitchen is where you prepare the dishes they order. And your office is where you play your action and maintain your money and staff. The hotel board are printed on both sides. One side features the same hotel so that all players have the same conditions, but the other side differs from each other and are more difficult to play. Hotelier commentary. Allow me, please, start with the front side. It will make life easier for yourself. At the start of the game, 3 guest rooms are already available for us. Overall, you can use up to 20 rooms in your hotel. The rooms are organized in 10 groups. Using all the rooms in your group provides valuable benefits. Hotelier commentary. Sure, who would not like a bonus? A good hotelier, though, only prepares as many rooms as is needed. Emperor track. There are 13 spaces on the Emperor track, each of which features a victory point value below it. You cannot move past space 13. Instead, you receive 1 victory point for each space you would move beyond space 13. Victory point track. For each victory point you receive, advance your wooden disc on the victory point track by 1 space. Each space can have more than 1 player's wooden disc. If you move past space 75, take a victory point marker with 75 facing up. If you move past space 75 again, turn the victory point marker to the other side. At the end of the game, add the number of your victory points marker to your position on the victory point track. Setup. Place the game board in the middle of the table. It features spaces for the guest cards of the Emperor track, 3 spaces for the Emperor tiles, and 3 spaces for the politics cards. Place the action board with the 6 action spaces next to it. Place the dustbin at the victory point markers next to it. Sort the 4 different dishes and drinks and place them next to the game board. Shuffle the guest cards and place them face down in a stack on the designated space. Draw 5 cards from the top of the stack and place 1 each face up on the 5 guest spaces. Shuffle the staff cards and place them face down in a stack next to the game board. Hotelier commentary. On your first play, you should only use the recommended sets. Sort out the appropriate card before you shuffle the rest. Choose a politics card, each from A, B, and C, and place them face up on the designated space of the game board. Choose Emperor tiles from each of the A, B, and C tiles and place them face up on the designated space on the game board. Sort the room tiles by color and place them in stack next to the game board. Place the following number of dice on the first action space: 10 dice in a game of 2 players, 12 dice in a 3-player game, and 14 dice in a 4-player game. Put the remaining dice back into the game box. Take the turn order tile with the correct number of players on their backs and place the rest back into the game box. Take an overview card, a hotel board, and the 6 wooden discs in a color of your choice. Put the remaining overview cards, hotel boards, and wooden disc back into the game box. Place 1 of your wooden discs on the space 0 of the Emperor track and another on the space 0 of the Victory Point track. Put the round marker on space 1 of the round track. Place 1 of your wooden discs on space 10 of the money track of your hotel board, i.e., you start the game with 10 crowns. Place the remaining wooden disc next to your hotel board. Hotelier commentary. You may need those wooden discs later to engage in politics, marking the corresponding card with them. Take a coffee, wine, cake, and strudel from the supply and place them in the kitchen on your hotel board. Draw 6 staff cards and keep them hidden from the other players. Hotelier commentary. As I said before, play the Introductory Variant and use the recommended sets if you please. Preparations. Decide collectively which side of the hotel board you would like to use. For your first play, we recommend you use the front side. Randomly determine a start player. This player receives turn order tile 1. The next player, in clockwise order, receives turn order tile 2, and so on. Begin with the last player, who has the highest turn order tile. And in counterclockwise order, each player chooses a guest from the face-up ones on the game board and place it in their cafe at no cost. After each choice, slide the remaining guest to the right and place a new one from the draw pile on the empty space at the left. After that, each player should have a guest list in their cafe. Then, players prepare up to 3 rooms by taking room tiles from the game board and placing them on same colored space of their hotel board. You must start with the bottom left room of your hotel board. Subsequent rooms tile must be placed adjacent to already placed ones. You pay the most printed on your hotel board by moving the wooden disc on your money track down. Now you are ready to go. Hotelier commentary. Little piece of advice, definitely prepare 3 rooms. If you're Scottish or simply like saving money, you can prepare 3 free rooms. Objective. The game is played over 7 rounds. At the end of round 3, 5, and 7, there's an emperor scoring. After round 7, there's also the final scoring. The player who then has the most victory points wins. Hotelier commentary. You know, there are several ways to get victory points. Guests provide some, you get some in the emperor scoring, and for occupying rooms. With the right staff, there are even more ways to get points. Course of play. At the start of each round, the start player, who has the turn order tile 1, takes and rolls all the dice, sorting them by the roll number and placing them on the corresponding action spaces. Then, the start player takes a turn or passes. See passing. On your turn, you take the following actions. 1. Take a guess from the game board. Optional. 2. Take a die and carry out the corresponding action. Mandatory. You can also take additional actions. See additional actions. 1. Take a guest from the game board. On your turn, you can take one of the 5 face-up guests on the game board and place it in your cafe. Pay the cost associated with the guest you took, printed on the game board. Moving the wooden disc on your money track down accordingly. Then, place the guest on a free space in your cafe. If all spaces are occupied, you cannot take a guest. Slide all remaining guests on the game board to the right and place a new guest from the draw pile on the empty space left. Hotelier commentary. Can I tell you a secret? The truth is, the hotels chose their guests. Successful hotelier only takes guests that help the hotel prosper. So choose wisely, but try to get a new guest each turn if possible. Be careful though, a guest does not leave your cafe unless you complete their order. 2. Take a die and carry out the action. Choose an action space with at least 1 die left and carry out the action. The number of dice on the action space determines how much you get for the action. Then, remove a die from the action space and place it on the lowest visible number on your turn order tile. Action for the dice showing 1. For each die on this action space, you can take 1 strudel or 1 cake. You cannot take more cake than strudel, but other than that, you can take any combination of cake and strudel. Example, there are 3 dice showing 1. Taking the action, you can choose 3 strudel or 2 strudel and 1 cake. Action for dice showing 2. For each die on this action space, you can take 1 wine or 1 coffee. You cannot take more coffee than wine, but other than that, you can take any combination of coffee and wine. Hotelier commentary. If you understand action 1, you also understand this one. You're not dumb, after all. Action for die showing 3. For each die on this action space, you can prepare a room. Take a room tile of your choice from the supply and place it on your hotel board, according to the following rule. Each room tile must be adjacent to an already placed tile. The front of the room tile has to be visible. You must pay the cost according to the row of the room space. The color of the room tile must match the color of the room space. If you place a room tile on a space in the top right part of your hotel board, you immediately receive the printed number of victory points. Action for dice showing 4. For each die on this action space, you can advance 1 space on the Emperor track or your money track. You can split the total between the 2 tracks. Example, there are 2 dice showing 4. You can either advance 2 spaces on the Emperor track or 2 spaces on your money track, or 1 space on each. Action for dice showing 5. You can play exactly 1 staff card. For each die on this action space, the cost is reduced by 1. Pay the remaining cost by moving down on your money track accordingly. If the cost drops below 0, you do not get any money out of this. Example, there are 4 dice showing 5. You play a staff card costing 6, paying 2 crowns. Alternatively, you could play any card staff costing up to 4 for free. Action for dice showing 6. Pay 1 krone and choose any of the 5 other actions, 1 to 5. Take the action based on the number of dice showing 6, not the chosen number. Example, there are 4 dice showing 6, but only 1 die showing 2. You pay 1 krone and take 2 wine and 2 coffee. Whenever you receive dishes and drinks, you can place them immediately on a guest's order. Place the rest in the kitchen of your hotel board. Hotelier commentary. By the way, this is a general rule, regardless of how you get those dishes and drinks. Additional actions. On your turn, you can also take the following additional actions. Once per turn, you can play 1 krone to add 1 to the number of dice on the chosen action space. You can pay 1 krone to move up to 3 dishes and drinks from your kitchen to the orders of your guest cards. You can place a wooden disc on the politics card. See politics cards. You can use a staff card you played with a once per round effect. If you do, turn it to the other side. You can move a guest whose order you completed to free room. You immediately receive the printed number of victory points and the reward that guest provides. Guests can only move into an unoccupied room of the same color. Turn the room to the other side and place the guest on the discard pile. When you turn over the last room in a group, you immediately and only once receive a bonus. See Occupancy bonus. If you have no free room of matching color, you cannot take this action. Guests for which you have no room stay in your cafe and block space. Except for the first one, you can take the additional actions any number of times during a turn. Hotelier commentary. It would not be fair if rich people could simply buy everything they want. Finish your turn. The player with the lowest number visible on their turn order tile goes next. Consequently, the player to the right of the start player takes 2 consecutive turns. Example of a turn. It is Doris' turn. Since she has 3 guests already, she cannot attract a new guest in her cafe. She chooses action 2, there are 3 dice showing 2, and pays an additional crown to receive 2 wine and 2 coffee. She places those on her Baroness, thus completing her order. She receives 5 victory points and moves the Baroness to an empty blue room, turning that room to the other side. She receives the depicted reward, drawing 3 staff cards and playing one of them, and place the Baroness on the discard pile. She also receives an occupancy bonus of 2 victory points for occupying the last room in this group. Passing. Instead of taking a turn, you can simply pass. This happens quite frequently when there are only a few dice left on action spaces you do not want to use. When you pass, you must wait until every other player has either passed or taken 2 actions, and thus covered both numbers of their turn order tile. When that happens, the player with the lowest number still showing on their turn order tile takes the remaining dice from all the action space, removes 1, and roll the rest again, sorting them by number and placing them back accordingly. Then that player can take a turn or pass again. Play continues in this fashion until all players have covered both numbers of their turn order tile or there are no dice left on any action space. Example. It is Andrea's turn. She desperately needs new rooms to move their guest into. Unfortunately, all dice from action space 3 are gone, so she passes to wait for the reroll. After every other player has taken 2 actions, she takes the remaining dice, removes 1, and roll again. She's lucky enough to roll 3. She can now take that action and prepare to her rooms. Occupancy bonus. When all the rooms in a group are occupied, you receive a bonus based on the size of the group and the quality of the rooms in it. According to the table on your hotel board, you receive additional advancement on the Emperor track for yellow rooms, victory points for blue rooms, and crown for red rooms. The bigger the group, the greater the bonus you receive. You can trigger the bonus when receiving a reward from a guest that lets you turn a room tile. Each group provides its bonus only once, and the moment you turn the last room tile in that group. Example. Benedict moves a noble to his last free blue room, thus occupying the last room in a blue room. He immediately receives an occupancy bonus for that group. Since it has 2 rooms, he can advance 5 spaces on the victory point track. Politics cards. Each politics card shows a requirement. As soon as you meet the requirement of a politics card on your turn, you can place a wooden disc on the highest available space, receiving the printed number of victory points for that. You can only place 1 wooden disc per politics card. Hotelier commentary. If you have no clue what to aim for in this game, you should take a look at the politics cards. They usually provide some idea of what play towards. If you have better plans though, you can ignore them altogether. There are 12 politics cards, but only 3 are used in each game. If you meet the requirement of a card on your turn, you can place a wooden disc on the card, and you immediately receive the printed number of victory points. You can only place 1 wooden disc on each card. Here's an explanation of the cards. You have 20 crowns. You are on space 10 of the Emperor tract or higher. You have played at least 6 staff cards. You have at least 12 room tiles on your hotel board. All rooms in at least 2 rows of your hotel board are occupied. All rooms in at least 2 columns of your hotel board are occupied. All rooms in at least 6 groups of your rooms on your hotel board are occupied. All rooms of one color are occupied on your hotel board. You have at least 3 occupied rooms of each color. You have at least 4 red and 3 yellow occupied rooms. You have at least 4 yellow and at least 3 blue occupied rooms. You have at least 4 blue and 3 red occupied rooms. End of a round. At the end of the 3rd, 5th, and 7th round, there is an Emperor scoring. See Emperor scoring. After the 7th round and its Emperor scoring, there's a final scoring. At the end of each round, you can turn your staff card face up again. Then, pass your turn order tile to the next player in clockwise order. The new start player takes all the dice and moves the round marker 1 space forward. Emperor scoring. Each player receives victory points for their wooden disc on the Emperor track, according to the value printed below the space that the wooden disc occupies. Then, each player must move their wooden disc a number of spaces back on the track. 3 spaces after the first, 5 spaces after the second, and 7 spaces after the third Emperor score. If your wooden disc ends up in the yellow area, so at least on space 3, you receive the bonus of the Emperor tile. If your wooden disc ends up on 0, you suffer the penalty of the Emperor tile. If your wooden disc ends up on 1 or 2, you neither get the bonus nor suffer a penalty. Emperor tiles. There are 12 Emperor tiles, but only 3 are used in each game. The penalty part usually shows 2 options. If one of them is not possible, you must choose the other. Here's an explanation of the tiles. Bonus. You receive 3 crowns. Penalty. You lose either 3 crowns or 5 victory points. Bonus. You receive any 2 dishes or drinks. Penalty. You must return all dishes and drinks from your kitchen to the general supply. Bonus. Draw 3 staff cards. You can choose one and play it for 3 fewer crowns. Return the unused cards to the bottom of the staff pile. Penalty. You must either return 2 staff cards from your hand to the bottom of the staff card pile or lose 5 victory points. Bonus. Prepare a room of your choice without paying any cost. Other rules regarding the preparation of a room remain intact. Penalty. You either lose 5 victory points or must remove an unoccupied room from the highest possible row of your hotel board. Bonus. You receive 1 strudel, 1 cake, 1 wine, and 1 coffee. Penalty. You must return all dishes and drinks from your guest and kitchen to the general supply. Bonus. You receive 5 crowns. Penalty. You lose either 5 crowns or 7 victory points. Bonus. Draw 3 cards. You can play one of them at no cost. Return the other to the bottom of the staff card pile. Penalty. You must either return 3 staff cards from your hand to the bottom of the staff card pile or lose 7 victory points. Bonus. You can place a room tile of any color in the first or second row of your hotel board immediately. turn that room to the other side, marking it occupied. You must place the room adjacent to another. Penalty. You either lose 7 victory points or must remove 2 unoccupied rooms from the highest possible row of your hotel board. Bonus. You receive 8 victory points. Penalty. You lose 8 victory points. Bonus. You can place a room tile of any color on your hotel board. Immediately turn that room to the other side, marking it occupied. You must place the room adjacent to another. Penalty. You must remove 2 occupied rooms from your hotel board. These must be the occupied rooms in the highest possible row and the next possible room below. Bonus. You receive 2 victory points per staff card you played. Penalty. You lose 2 victory points per staff card you played. Bonus. You can play a staff card from your hand at no cost. Penalty. You must either discard a staff card you played with a game end effect or lose 10 victory points. Game end and final scoring. After the 7th round, there's a final scoring. You receive victory points for your staff cards that provide them. You receive victory points for your occupied rooms. 1 victory point for each room in the first row of your hotel board. 2 victory points each in the second row. 3 victory points each in the third row. And 4 victory points each in the top row. You receive 1 victory point for each crone and leftover dish and drink in your kitchen. You lose 5 victory points for each guest in your cafe. The player with the most victory points wins. In case of a tie, the player who has more dishes, drinks, and crones left wins. Introductory Variant. In order to familiarize yourself with the game, we recommend you each start the game with an equal set of staff cards. Before you first play, sort the staff cards and give each player a set. The start player receives set A, the next player set B, and so on. Then shuffle the remaining staff cards to form the draw pile. Variant for experienced players. At the start of the game, each player receives 6 staff cards. Choose one and take it into their hand. Then, give the rest of the player to your left. Again, choose 1 card and pass the rest to the left. Repeat this process until you have chosen and taken 6 staff cards into your hand. Hotelier Commentary. You have questions for the staff? I'm gladly at your service. I would like to explain each and every staff member in detail. I will also tell you when each staff member activates and how much you have to pay for their service. Some activate only once, namely when you hire them, i.e. when you play the staff card. Others activate once per round. You decide when that is, but once they have done their job, they take a nap for the rest of the round, meaning you should turn them face down. You can use them again next round. There are also quite busy staff who work permanently. Their effects last for the rest of the game. Finally, there are staff that only come into effect at the end of the game, providing victory points. Staff cards. Let me just butcher these names real quick. Bademeister, pool attendant, 1 crone, 1 time, advance 3 spaces on the Emperor track. Barista, 3 crones, 1 time, you receive 4 coffee. Barman, barkeeper, 4 crones, once per round, you receive 1 wine. Boat, delivery boy, 6 crones, permanent, you can take guests from the game board at no cost. Butler, 5 crones, permanent. You can prepare blue rooms at no cost. Chauffeur, 5 crones, permanent. You can prepare red rooms at no cost. Chef Coach. Chef. 3 crowns, 1 time. You receive 1 strudel, 1 cake, 1 wine, and 1 coffee. Concierge. Concierge. 4 crowns. Game end. You receive 3 victory points per occupied blue rooms. Decorator. Decorator. 2 crowns, permanent. Each time you take a die showing 1 or 2, you can also prepare 1 room. Direction assistant. Assistant manager. 4 crowns. Game end. You receive 4 victory points per staff card you played, including the assistant manager, of course. Director. Hotel manager. 4 crowns. Games end. You receive 4 victory points for each set of 3 occupied rooms of different color. Each room can only be part of 1 set. Example. At the end of the game, you have 3 red, 4 blue, and 6 yellow rooms, which are all occupied. You receive 3 times 4 equals 12 victory points. Empfangschef. Reception clerk. 4 crowns. Game end. You receive 3 victory points per occupied yellow room. Etakan dame. Female floor housekeeper. 2 crowns. Game end. You receive 5 victory points for each full occupied floor in your hotel. Etagendina. Male floor housekeeper. 5 crowns. Permanent. Each time you complete a guest order that consists of 4 dishes and 4 drinks, you also receive 4 victory points. You only receive those points when the guests move to a room. Hotelier commentary. You also receive the guests' printed victory points. Floristin. Florist. 5 kron. Permanent. You can prepare yellow rooms at no cost. Fremdenführer. Tour guide. 2 crowns. Permanent. Each time you complete a green guest order, you also receive 2 victory points. You only receive those points when the guests move to a room. Hotelier commentary. You also receive the guests' printed victory points. Frühstückskellner. Breakfast server. 4 crowns. Once per round, you receive 1 strudel. Garderobenfrau. Checker. 2 crowns. Permanent. Each time you take a die showing 5, you also receive a discount of 2 crowns. Hotelier commentary. As usual, if the discount exceeds the cost, you do not receive any money. Gardener. 3 crowns. Permanent. Each time you receive the Emperor bonus, you also receive 5 victory points. Hosdime. Executive housekeeper. 2 crowns. Permanent. Each time you take a die showing 3 or 4, you also receive 2 victory points. Hausdetektiv. Detective. 2 crowns. Permanent. Each time you take a die showing 5, you can also advance 2 spaces on the Emperor track. Ausverwalte. Custodian. 5 crowns. Permanent. Each time a guest moves into a room, you also receive 1 crown. Innenarchitekt. Interior architect. 3 crowns. Permanent. Each time you take a die showing 3, you also receive 5 victory points. Kalt Maasmesel. Larder cook. 2 crowns. 1 time. You receive 4 strudels. Kellnerin. Waitress. 6 crowns. Once per round. You receive 1 cake. Konditor. Confectioner. 3 crowns. 1 time. Receive 4 cakes. Kutschenhöfel. Kitchen hand, 3 crowns, permanent. You can take a die showing 6 at no cost. You get also the reward for the number of dice in action space 6 plus 1. Lift boy. 4 crowns, game end. You receive 5 victory points for each fully occupied column in your hotel. Marketingleiter, marketing director, 2 crowns, game end. You receive 5 victory points for each politics card on which you placed a wooden disc. Masseurin, masseuse, 1 crown, permanent. Each time you complete a yellow guest's order, you also receive 1 crown. You only receive that crown when the guests move to a room. Oberkellner, chief waiter, 1 crown, permanent. You can move dishes and drinks from your kitchen to your guests at no cost. Page boy, 2 crowns, 1 time. You can turn 2 rooms of any color to the other side, marking it occupied. Personal chef, staff manager, 3 crowns, permanent. Each time you take a die showing 3, you can also play a staff card from your hand. Pferdeknecht, groom, 4 crowns, permanent. Each time you complete a red guest's order, you also receive 2 crowns. Portier, porter, 5 crowns, 1 time. Complete the guest's order by taking the dishes and drinks from the general supply. Reservegrundslater, booking manager, 4 crowns, game end. You receive 3 victory points per occupied red rooms. Restaurant chef, restaurant manager, 2 crowns, permanent. Each time you take a die showing 1 or 2, you also receive 1 additional dish and drink, respectively. Hotelier commentary. The normal rules apply. You cannot take more cake than strudels, or more coffee than wine. Receptionist, 5 crowns, game end. You receive 1 victory point per room in your hotel, regardless of whether or not the room is occupied or merely prepared. Schuhputzer, bootblack, 4 crowns, permanent. Each time you take a die showing 4, you advance 1 space on the Emperor track and on your money track for each die instead of choosing one of the 2 options. Sekretärin, secretary, 5 crowns, game end. You can copy any other player's staff card. Hotelier commentary. Of course, you should copy a card providing victory points. Nothing else makes sense. Sommelier, 2 crowns, 1 time. You receive 4 wines. Sous chef, 6 crowns, once per round. You receive 1 coffee. Stallmeister, stableman, 1 crown, permanent. Each time you complete a blue guest order, you can also advance 1 space on the Emperor track. Telefonist, operator, 3 crown, game end. You receive victory points for your position on the Emperor track. You receive twice the depicted value in victory point. Hotelier commentary. So you can get at most 12 victory points from this, since your wooden disc can be at most 6 spaces after the final Emperor scoring. Währungsklugslehrer, conference manager, 5 crown, permanent. You do not suffer the penalty for being on 0 on the Emperor track. Wascherin, laundress, 2 crowns, permanent. Each time you take a die showing 4, you also receive 4 victory points. Zmedina, room service, 3 crowns, game end. You receive 2 victory points for each fully occupied group of rooms in your hotel. Hotelier commentary. The rooms must be occupied it does not suffice to merely prepare them. Zimmermatchen, chambermaid, 6 crowns, game in. You receive 1 victory point per occupied room in your hotel. Guest cards. Hotelier commentary. Guests are usually open books to us experts, so I should not need to explain them at all. Just a few of them. Bildhauer. You can prepare a room in the first or second row of your hotel board at no cost. Hotelier commentary. If you cannot do so, tough luck. Reichsritter. The only guest with no reward. Hotelier commentary. What a greedy odd fellow. At least he is worth an easy 3 victory points. Gizia. You receive another turn without taking dice. Overview of symbols. Advance the depicted number of spaces on the Emperor track. You can play a staff card, paying 3 crowns less than printed on the card. Take a dish or drink of the depicted color, place it on a guest's order or in your kitchen. Take a staff card from the draw pile and put it into your hand. Take a dish or drink of your choice, place it on a guest's order or in your kitchen. Take 3 staff cards from the draw pile and play one of them immediately, paying 3 crowns less than printed on the card. Return the other 2 cards to the bottom of the draw pile. You receive 2 victory points. You can turn a room on the depicted color to the other side, marking it occupied. Gray color means you can turn any room regardless of color. Prepare a room of your choice according to the placement rule. You must pay the cost. Complete the order on a guest card of the depicted color. Take the required dishes and drinks from the general supply, placing them on the guest card. Gray color means you can complete any guest order regardless of color. Prepare a room of your choice according to the placement rule. You must pay the cost minus 1 crown. Prepare a room of the depicted color at no cost. Prepare a room of your choice at no cost according to the placement rule. Take a face-up case card from the game board and place it in your cafe at no cost, unless you have no space in your cafe. You receive 1 crown. You can play a staff card at no cost. 1 time, once per round, permanent, game end. Thanks for listening. This was Monotone Board Game Rule Reading, Grand Austrian Hotel.